So today I want to talk about how my quality of life has changed or improved as I start to go down my wealth building journey. For those of you who've been following my story or are new, I basically started off with $250,000 of student debt back in 2013 after I graduated pharmacy school. And then after completion of pharmacy school from 2013 all the way up to present day, I focused on increasing my W-2 income. I moved up from a pharmacist to a pharmacy director, which is where I'm currently at. And simultaneously, I was saving money to buy a lot of real estate. So I bought my first single family home in 2017, bought my second one in 2019, my third one, fourth one in 2020, and then I bought my first apartment complex in 2021, my mobile home park end of 2021, and then my second apartment complex in 2022. So I currently own I owned 90 units at one point. I just sold my mobile home park, for those of you who know. And then so currently I own about 51 units, and that cash flow $10,000 a month, and I built up a $5 million net worth just because of the crazy appreciation that I had in California, from 2017 all the way up to like around COVID time. And then also I bought a lot of value add apartment complexes where I was able to renovate them, increase the rents, and then increase the value subsequently, right? So I've made a lot of my net worth through natural appreciation in California, as well as a lot of forced appreciation in Oklahoma, where I have apartment complexes. So what I want to share is like how my quality of life changed after giving this context, right? So a lot of people think, okay, you're worth 5 million. That's probably your fire number. If you live off of 4% of 5 million, that's about using the 4% rule. So basically the 4% rule is you take your whole nest eggs. Let's just say I sold all my real estate, took everything, and let's just be nice and assume there's no tax, right? Okay, let's actually factor in tax. So let's just say I sold everything, and for simplicity, I sold everything for 5 million. After tax, let's just say it's 4 million. And then basically from there, I would live off 4% of 4 million, which I believe is going to be $160,000 a year. If I withdraw $160,000 a year, I'll never touch my $4 million nest egg, right? And 160K is not my salary as a pharmacy director, but that's a typical pharmacist salary, right? So basically I could sell everything, pay some taxes, have 4 million in nest egg, live off 4%, which is 160K a year, and then basically can not work for the rest of my life, right? So that money might be dumped into like maybe S&P 500, which averages around 7%, and factoring inflation and taxes, I could effectively live off 4% of that, right? So I have to live up the 4% rule. So that's what I can do right now, right? So I basically hit my fire number. I could leave. My cash flow, my real estate is about $10,000 a month. So technically, I just hit it for the first 2 months. I could retire right now. I have enough money to replace my W-2 income. I currently take home close to about $10,000 a month. So it's definitely doable for me, right? Between the cash flow, between the cash flow route, I could retire. My net worth amount, I can sell everything after taxes and live off 4% of that. But let me kind of show how my quality of life has changed throughout the past 10 years. And to be honest, this is kind of anticlimactic, but it hasn't really changed, right? Like, I'll be honest, from 2013 all the way till today, I felt like I lived the same lifestyle. By lifestyle, I mean that like I always would spend less than I made. So like, even for me, like if I, let's say, took home $5,000, I would spend $2,000. And even if I made $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, my expense was always around $2,000, right? And this is not, factoring rent. This is just living expense for, to live every month, right? So, that 2,000 has stayed pretty consistent. Back when I was making 5,000, and now that I double my income, it's still staying the same, right? So my quality hasn't changed in that aspect. And one misconception that people have is I'm not like depriving myself intentionally, right? Like if I want to eat at a restaurant, I'll eat at a nice restaurant. If I want to like buy some new clothes, like what I'm wearing, I'll buy the new clothes. If I want to travel, I will travel, right? But for me, I'm just very intentional with my money, so that like a lot of the clothes that I buy, I'll buy it on clearance. If I go out to eat, they don't have deals on food, but like, I'll try it out. If I like it, great. If not, then that's fine, right? I'll eat out fancy. I'll eat at a taco truck, which is a little cheaper. I'll cook at home, right? So like, whatever I want to eat, I will spend fun for it. For travel, I use credit cards because I spend money on my credit card to get travel points. I use that to like cover my flight, and then I will pay for my own hotel. And for hotels, I don't go super like 5-star hotels. I'll get like a 3-star hotel in a good location that's affordable. And usually it's about like $100 or something, right? And then because I'm there to like experience things, not stay in my hotel, right? Or if I wanted to go to a nice resort, all-inclusive resort where I'm just staying in the hotel, then I'll splurge on a nicer hotel. So like for me, I'm very intentional with my money. I don't feel like I deprive myself of anything. I just spend money that gives me the most value. So to me, I feel like I am living pretty good life. Like I don't deprive myself. If I want to buy something, I'll buy it. Like my BMW broke and I bought a Tesla, right? Or well, I financed the Tesla, but like I bought a Tesla, right? Because I wanted it. I wasn't holding myself back. So that hasn't really changed. In terms of like as I start to build wealth, so the whole 10 years that I've been building wealth, I've been working a full-time W-2, right? So back when I was in 2013, I was $250,000 in student debt. I was working W-2. In 2017, I bought my first single-family home, working a W-2. When I bought my apartment complex, my mobile home park, and my 20-unit in a span of 8 months, in 2021 to 2022, I was still working a W-2, right? So, and then I was fixing up I was renovating my 2 apartments. I was renovating my mobile home park, and actually, during that time window, so for the most part, my quality of life has stayed the same, and my happiness kind of stayed the same from 2013 all the way up until 2022. But in 2022, when I was in 2023, when I was renovating my 2 apartments, my mobile home park, that's when the stress started to hit me, and actually my quality of life went down, right? And then now that it's 2024, my 2 apartments are stabilized. I sold my mobile home park for a loss. Now my quality of life went back up, but like at the same level I felt like back in like honestly like 2017, right? So it hasn't really changed in that aspect. And the whole time I'm working a full-time W-2, right? So my quality of life hasn't really changed. I didn't really lifestyle inflate. I didn't really lifestyle deflate. But there was that 2-year period when I was like stressed renovating my 90 units of real estate, when my quality of life went down, right? So isn't that kind of counterintuitive? So over the past 2 years, my net worth was probably like $3 to $4 million, and I was unhappier than I was when my net worth was negative 250K when I graduated pharmacy school in 2013 with 250K student loans and just get my first job, right? So like it's eye-opening to hear this. Like my quality of life hasn't really changed. It stayed the same from 2013 till today, despite being worth $5 million, despite cash flowing $10,000 a month, still working at W-2. I still travel when I want to travel. I still can buy whatever I want. I can still eat whenever I want, within reason. Like I'm very reasonable. I'm not gonna like go to like 5-star hotels every night and spend $1,000 for like a bottle of wine, right? Like no, I'm not gonna do that. So within reason, and my quality of life kind of stayed the same. And like I said, it actually went down in 2022 to 2023 because I was just so stressed. I was anxious, stressed, depressed. I'd have videos talking about that, and I didn't want to do anything because I was so stressed. So at that point, I was actually worse off. So going through this 10-year journey was very reflexive of me, of like, all right, well, I know I can go through my 2023 again and get through it this time, but it's not worth it for me to do it, right? Like, what's the point of building this wealth if you're just like super unhappy, you're stressed, you're anxious, right? Like, I understand there's a period that you have to go through to fix that, but like, now that I've been through that period and I've made it out of it alive, I'm just like, well, I could buy more real estate slowly, right? Like maybe every 3 years, I might buy like a 30 to 50 unit apartment complex instead of buying 80 units in a year, right? And then once I buy 30, I just can finish renovating it, slowly do it in Oklahoma, same team, same property manager, same renovation. And then once that's done, I just buy another one, right? Slowly. So I know I could sustain this pace of buying 30 apartment complexes every 3 years and not burn myself out without affecting my quality of life, right? Because I know that if I own 30 more units of real estate, my quality of life may not improve, right? I know, like if I go from 50 to 80 units, my quality of life will be the same. From 80 to 110 units, my quality of life will stay the same. To 200, it'll stay the same, right? But there's a point that you hit where maybe you do too much of it, your quality of life goes down, and that's what I want to avoid. So let's just say I bought another like 200 units like this year. I think my quality of life would go down compared to where I am now, right? But if I just bought 30 units every 3 years, gradually, easily, slowly, my quality of life would stay the same, not necessarily go up, but may not go down either. So that's been like very eye-opening for me in terms of like optimizing for wealth. Like for now, I'm just like, all right, well, I think the wealth game can be on autopilot. I grinded for 10 years. But now I want to focus back on my health, focus on my happiness, and just focusing on what I want to do, right? Because like like I said, I don't want to go through that phase of 2023 again where I'm just like super stressed and don't want to do anything. Like there's a time and place for that. I went through it. You may not have gone through it yet, and you get to start that journey sooner rather than later. But like I said, I don't want to do that to myself again, right? So, I'm gonna buy stuff more gradually, take my time, have more reserves, learn from my mistakes that I made in 2023 to make it easier the next time I buy, right? More reserves. Just buy one at a time. Make sure that I have multiple cash. I have cash flow from my real estate. I have cash flow from my W-2 job. I'm building up my YouTube, coaching, mentorship program. So that's additional cash flow. So once I have more cash flow, more reserves, I don't have to stress about as much for my real estate, right? So to kind of summarize all this, my quality of life as my net worth went up kind of stayed the same. It actually went down for a bit when I was too stressed and too anxious from doing too much real estate. So now I'm still want to do real estate, but I'm not gonna go as fast to maintain my quality of life, because I know that if my net worth was from 5 million to 10 million, I feel like my quality of life would not necessarily improve. But maybe when I'm at that 10 to 20 million range, maybe at that point I could leave my W-2 job comfortably, after accumulating more real estate that cash flows, let my real estate stabilize, build up my reserves, cover my expenses. Like, I still need to buy a primary residence for myself unless I move into one of my single family homes, but I got to take care of all the expenses. And at that point, the only time my quality of life will improve if I were to leave my W-2 job and actually retire early, right? But as of right now, as long as I'm still working at W-2 and I'm buying more real estate, my quality of life will not improve, right? So only my next level of quality of life would just be when I leave my W-2. That's taken care of. And at that point, let's say I'm worth 10 million. If I were to leave my W-2 from 10 to 20, there's no change in quality of life. Even from 20 to 40, my quality of life may not improve that much either, right? So knowing that, it's gonna make me optimize for to do things that I want to do, right? So hopefully it's kind of gave you insight of how my quality of life changed throughout the past 10 years, and give you some insight to, I still want to encourage you to build wealth and chase that, but just know that you can go at a reasonable pace and you don't have to kill yourself doing it, right? But there will be a period where it's going to be hard, but it should be temporary, right? And once you got past that hard piece, you have to reevaluate. Do I want to do this again and continue doing this, or am I okay just slowing down and not building wealth as fast? Because if I keep on going at the pace I'm going at, I could probably build even more wealth, but I'll be more stressed, right? So hopefully this gave you value. Please share this video with someone who can benefit from this conversation, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you.